So Ukoo Flani, hence the name Ukoo Flani Mau Mau. And it was great seeing that Mau Mau also gave love on that day. One of the guys who came through from Mau Mau, who was there, was showing them love as they were representing, as they were on the mic. Of course, was our boy himself, the Jirongi. Yeah, Jirongi was in the house showing love. So it was great to see, that people first of all heard about they're doing a show. People said, "Hey, I want to come through. I want to come through." One of the things that they try to do is get other people involved. So Icon Radio got involved, because they also wanted to be there. We believe in showing love to artists. We believe in showing love to the culture. And that's what we were doing that day. So a bit about Ukoo Flani. Ukoo Flani is originally from Mombasa. And they're based in hip hop. That's what they're known for. They're a hip hop group, But one thing that's very interesting about Ukoo Flani is they're very social. They have this social movement going on, and the things they even talk about in their music, is positive vibes, is uplifting vibes, and so that's one of the things that they're loved for. The group actually started back in 1996. And it was consisting of young artists who were coming up from different tribes at that time, religion and neighborhoods. They use actually the music to fight injustice, poverty and social neglect. Now we know in Kenya, even right now to this point, we have a lot of artists that have come out in the hip hop world in Kenya, but not all of them are talking about, fighting injustice, and we know what we're going through as a country. Just the other day, the youth went back again. There was Mandamano back again, and it's like there's a lot that goes on that people don't seem to want to talk about. And so when you see a group like Ukoo Flani being around, and coming out with their record and talking about things that they're passionate about, that is a good thing. And let me tell you, it's not easy. They've been around for a long time. Imagine, from 1996, they've been around. This is not an easy feat to handle. Trust me. I've been in hip hop like a long time now. Like I was also from the 90s, but the early 90s, when hip hop was still growing up in our country, Kenya, and for people like Ukoo Flani to maintain this long, and still be here present in 2026. Yo, that's a blessing. I'll tell you straight up, as someone who's been in the music industry, who's worked with a lot of artists, who's promoted a lot of artists, who's recorded a lot of artists and put out records. I'll tell you, it's not easy being in the music industry for that long. It's not easy. At some point, you get all tired, you get flagged out, you have other responsibilities, and it just doesn't have the same kick sometimes that it should be having, But for them to come around and, still be putting out music, still challenging themselves and challenging other people, that's a great thing. I talked earlier on about Ukoo Flani Mau Mau. Ukoo Flani, of course, now the Mau Mau part are from here in Nairobi, but they teamed up with the Mombasa crews that were there. That's from the name Ukoo Flani Mau Mau, and now that's how the name changed, and it's formed of different groups. It's not one group. It's formed of different groups within there, And it's great. Once again, I said hip hop is a culture of love. So when you see people come together and they're blessing the mic, they're blessing each other through music, and they're uplifting the past generation and the new generation that's coming up, something is hot out there. Now I checked out the Ukoo Flani live show that they were doing with the live band, and they were on that beat, man. They were getting down. The other day I was with Ukoo Flani in the studio recording. Well, those records will come out. Now is not the time, but they're gonna come out soon. And I remember when I was with Labala that time for Wakambawili in the studio, part of course, Ukoo Flani, he told me, we have to have beats, iko na hiyo bounce ya Mombasa, because Mombasa artists, they want to have that thing where they're moving, where they're dancing, where they're it's hip hop, but it's a different kind of level. And I respect what they do because they know very, very, very much what they want to do and the direction they want to go and how they want to do it, And that's a great thing to see some of these artists from the past, that have come out and they know they have a direction and they're challenging the younger artists that have coming up. Like we said, some of the artists that kind of raised that day, some of them like Mashmashab he's a younger artist, But it's like it was great seeing him also do his thing out there. Once again, it was also great seeing Abbas. By the way, Abbas is about to drop his album now. People have been waiting for that for a minute now, Hey, people were getting excited when they saw him over there because they were seeing the music that he's putting out and just seeing him talk and him talking about the love that he has for hip hop. Another guy who came to, of course, who's been linked to hip hop for a long time, and is also linked to, of course, Ukoo Flani Mau Mau is Kimia, And Kimia was there on that day. That's people always say Bamboo's brother, but let me tell you, Kimia is a dope artist on his own. Like when he represents, it ain't no joke, and also a good producer, And so it was great to see Kimia had come through. It was great to see Nazizi was there. She got on stage, blessed the mic, and she was just showing them love, Of course, some of the music we play today, of course, has Ukoo Flani and Nazizi together, So it was great seeing them all together. It was just great seeing that people were showing each other that love and getting on the mic, and having their own stories that they put together and remembering those times. So I thought that was really awesome. A lot of times people have asked, what does the name actually Ukoo Flani stand for? Like let me not lie to you, man. I can't do that Swahili Mombasa the way they do it. Like, when they were here in the studio, like they're all about that Swahili, that coastal vibe, and it was great seeing it. But a lot of times people have been asking, what is the name Ukoo Flani? What does it really stand for? And I went, because I had to check it up and get the facts behind it. And what I found out is actually what they call an acronym, for Upendo, Kuote, Oliwenu, Ombeni, Funzo, La, Aleyetumbo, Jia, Iwepo. Those are many words, man. Like, you can imagine every word in that word Ukoo Flani, every letter has a meaning behind it. And when we translate it to English, what it means is actually love everywhere. All who seek teaching of the Creator, there is a way. So all who seek teaching of the Creator, there is a way. Now, when you look at the history of a lot of times about hip hop was what people say conscious rap. Some you say underground rap. Of course, we earlier heard about gangster rap, but that's not gangster rap, So for them, it's all about passing knowledge, It's all about educating, It's all about speaking their minds on it, And I feel that that's great, that they're passing their teachings, the stories that they know, the stories that they've learned, the stories that they have picked up, Once again, it's all love. When you see Ukoo Flani and then you see Mau Mau come together, it's all love. And you've got to understand, these are some of the biggest hip hoppers, the biggest rappers that ever touch our land of Kenya. That's one thing you've got to realize, And there's a time, and I've spoken about this before on the Vote. There's a time, actually, some of the best music we used to hear used to come from Mombasa. This was like the early 90s. There's a lot of artists used to come over there, and had a lot of artists coming through, from Mombasa and doing their stuff over here in Nairobi. Then all of a sudden, for a long time, we haven't heard those artists. They're either just in Mombasa or we're just here in Nairobi. But to see Ukoo Flani come from the coast all the way to Nairobi and do their thing and show us what they're about, that was a total blessing, And now people are saying they want to see more of that, They just don't want it to end there, and just be like, okay, you did your thing. Now what's next? No, it's like, it was great to see that happening, And like I said, they put out records, that caused the vibe that people were just like feeling. Like today we played one of their records from the past. Burn them. Yeah. Yeah, they performed that also on their show, and people are going crazy about it. Like in hip hop, when people feel something, there's not a lot of talking for the crowd. When people feel something, they either sing along or they're what we call head bopping. The bopping there is like, yeah, I'm feeling that. Yeah, that, and they look at each other with eyes, not even saying that, like, that's my jam. That's how they look at it. And so that was great. That was great seeing how they were coming through and doing representation of that, And it was great. At one point, even when Abbas was performing, I saw Jirongi on the stage. He was just there enjoying the vibe, just enjoying all happiness. Funny Frank, of course, got on the mic. He talked about a bit of the history of Ukoo Flani, which was great because, like I said, a lot of us we know the group, but we don't know all the history. And so he was there back in the days and breaking it down, what it is exactly that they do, and where they came from, And so it's like, when you hear their music, you feel touched and you start thinking like, okay, so that's what this song meant. That's what that record meant, Of course, in the group itself, there are different members, And it's a collective of artists. For example, there's Gucci P, if you know who Gucci P is, he's the one with the long dreadlocks, like Damian Marley. Full of energy. Gucci P is a member of Ukoo Flani. There's, of course, Chisholm Brain. I remember Chisholm Brain was behind a lot of the production, Alaya Kenti, Of course, there's Sharama. Sharama, big player in Ukoo Flani. There's P.O.P. Of course, there's Lavosti. Then there's, this next guy has a big name. You can't forget about it. That's Fujo Makelele. Yeah, I always get amazed by that name. Then, of course, we can't forget about Cannibal. Yeah, it's great. It was great to see also Cannibal there on stage, doing his thing, representing along with the crew. RIC also. And, of course, Labala is also there. Labala, we know him from Wakamba Wawili. Him and Agano, So it was also great to see Labala on stage, because it was great to see him representing, There's, of course, there's Dr. Dunga, Richize, and Shaolin, a.k.a. Grand Mantis, that are also cited among members, So these are actually the members of Ukoo Flani, And the more and more, we're going to keep on playing more and more of their music so you get a vibe of it. You get to hear what real hip-hop is. I know in this day and age, people talk about the current hip-hoppers that are coming. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong about talking about the current guys that come up. But a lot of times you hear people talking about people like Calligraph a lot, that sometimes we forget about some of the people in our music industry who actually paved the way and make music great. One of the guys that was also there, and he was there, but he was just a bit chilled on that day, but he was there, was Vigeti from Kalamashaka, and it was all love seeing him also. It's good to see him up and about, coming show them love also. So, and a lot of the public that came together, you can tell that they love what was happening over there. They love seeing what was happening over there. So I feel honored and privileged that I could be there with them on that day, as Icon Radio, as the beat maker, we were there on that day. I also feel blessed. I can say I've been with both sides in the studio. I've been with guys of Mau Mau in the studio, and I've been with guys of Ukoo Flani. So that that is a blessing for the beat maker. But we're going to take a break right now. We're going to come back so you can know more about this crew. But today what it is, it's a tribute. It's all tribute. It's all love to Ukoo Flani. So if you're tuning in, listen to the music. Tell me what you think about it and keep on saying blessed.
Representing Headbangers Entertainment.
Headbangers Entertainment. Headbangers Headbangers Entertainment.
Ni ya hip hop heads, ni nani alisema ati hip hop's dead? Na bado tuko, bado tuna break bread. Keep your Richie rich, tuna bang my head. Hii hapa ni ya hip hop heads. Ni nani alisema ati hip hop dead? Na bado tuko, bado tuna break bread. Kimya Richie Rich, tuna bang my head.
Sisters, tell me if you feel me, feel me. Loving real niggas riding with me. They soldiers on the corner, straight street. You recognize them by that gangsta teeth. You see, a girl like me don't need no wannabe. Calling me, claiming they'll be balling me. I want a hustler, P-I-M-P, baby. And if you step up to me with game, we'll see the possibility if we can be my G. I'll be your first lady. You gotta be grimy, stay beside me. Rock my boat and keep me smiling. Wedding broke while and styling. While we riding, sweating in a hip hop high, hip hop high.
Hii hapa ni ya hip hop heads. Ni nani alisema ati hip hop dead? Na bado tuko, bado tuna break bread. Kimya Richie Rich, tuna bang my head. Hii hapa ni ya hip hop heads. Ni nani alisema ati hip hop dead? Na bado tuko, bado tuna break bread. Kimya Richie Rich, tuna bang my head.
Feel hip hop with your mind, body, and soul, and let the story be told. Started out wanting to flow. I knew this hip hop shit was gonna get me some dough. I got dreams of having a million records sold. Much love to my underground niggas who ain't even known. Keep your head up, nigga, until you get on. Hip hop legends are dying, and it's wrong. This is hip hop, and I know you feeling this song. So let me take control. West Coast, let's roll. East Africa, man, we're ready to blow. I'm ready to go. Fake and keep it on the low.
Keep it on the low. I'm up to my thing at the end of the night. I'm up to my thing at the end of the night. You be dancing with me. I'm a little sexy at the end of the night. You be drooling over me. See me stepping on my car. You looking like you can't believe it. Sweating like you going crazy. Your girl's like, hey, are you okay? You ain't never seen so much skin on me. You be acting like you on ecstasy. Can't start to imagine what you're thinking. All I know is this body's got you weak. What I really want is for him to come on me. Wanna make his fantasy reality. Jump on the floor. Forget all that regulations. It's my little game, my little frame, my little taste. See who's gonna win. Let's get to the step and let's get to the jump and let's get to the boogie, the groove, and it's time we take it down the proper way. Thug love and thug hugging, thug dusting, doing it my way. I got a meaning in my ear, I'm saying I can't take this any longer. I need you right in front of me. He takes my right hand. Someone has my left hand. I tell the bartender, 4 shots of tequila, please. I need a live and my bag don't sigh. Now boys, calm down. I make a scene when it's simple. Forget all them regulations. So I got a suggestion. Let's take it to the floor. See who can show me more. It's my little game, my little frame, my little taste. See who's gonna win. Let's get to the step and let's get to the jump and let's get to the boogie, the groove, and it's time we take it down the proper way. Thug love and thug hugging, thug dusting, doing it my way. Straight up, I'm confused. Can't make my mind up. They're hypnotized and I they want me, so I'm gonna give it to them. But you see, I want the guy, I'ma get it from him. You ready? 1, 2, 3, go! Take it to the left now. So take it to the right now. Come on, take it, bring it down. Lord, I'll bring it up now. So let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Pop, pop, drop it. Move, move, grab it. Shake, shake, snap it. Lean, lean, caress it. You feel me? One more time. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Take it to the left now. Let's take it to the right now. Come on, take it with me down. I bring it up and knock me slow.
get it down for the finance. Good girls up a town want out the money. Take way rat and up shop to get something. When I take it to the coast, she be wearing nothing. Tell the girl what she want, she fi be something. This and nothing but the G stuff a phone tracking. Girl was up on the rhythm, Mr. Face stocking. Me go like, she go like. Contact now me girl them pretty. Girl them uptown, downtown by the ticket. Girl them everywhere them pretty like kitty. Shake it scenario with a punchline pretty. Contact now me girl them pretty. Girl them uptown, downtown by the ticket. Girl them everywhere them pretty like kitty. Shake it scenario with a punchline. Now big test and get some wild wings. Girl them up swell now I need to keep team. Now big from control out of planes. Now be shaky to well and I be the girl scream. Now top it up the light me like dim. Triple beat ball lights clamp on your rim. Party limb with a step now I bring heel steam. Shake it shy dance now swing. Look out tight now me girl them pretty. Girl them uptown downtown by the ticket. Girl them everywhere them pretty like kitty. Shake it scenario with a punchline pretty. Look out tight now me girl them pretty. Girl them uptown downtown by the ticket. Girl them everywhere them pretty like kitty. Shake it scenario with a punchline. Let's have a lot too. Girl looky roll, top on the boat, just go. Girl me not shanga too. Girl looky flow, copy at a control. Good girl for me need. Most for Willie dance for the lead. So the girl a papa with the fire juggling. Now she dip it, now she lock it and clean. And attack a guy's pattern off with rock it and fling. Come me, now pass back to run the girl thing. And make sure the boom come a bell be the ring. Like a patapa kitchen, now my gal them on the thing. My heart is only be saved with the gal them will not feel what they do. But the shaky shama kali one. I get it down for the finance. Good girls up a town want out the money. Take way rat and up shop to get something. When I take it to the coast, she be wearing nothing. Tell the girl what she want, she fi be something. This and nothing but the cheap stuff a phone jacking. Girl was up on the rhythm, Mr. Flip stocking. Me go like, she go like. Got tight now me girl them pretty. Girl them uptown, downtown by the ticket. Girl them everywhere them pretty like kitty. Shake it scenario with a punchline witty. Got tight now me girl them pretty. Girl them uptown, downtown by the ticket. Girl them everywhere them pretty like kitty. Shake it scenario with a punchline. Got tight now me girl them pretty. Girl them uptown, downtown by the ticket. Girl them everywhere them pretty like kitty. Shake it scenario with a punchline witty. Got tight now me girl them pretty. Girl them uptown, downtown by the ticket. Girl them everywhere them pretty like kitty. Shake it scenario with a punchline. Love that 2000.
rich, this is 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 rich. This is rich, this is Richie Rich representing headbangers.
Hey, this Dirty Damo, aka the headhunting. Hey, this Dirty Damo, aka the headhunting.
This is Richie Rich representing headbangers entertainment. Stand back with my home. This is Richie Rich.
Hey, this Dirty Damo, aka the headhunting. You listen.
Headbangers Entertainment.
Enter Mr. DJ.
Hadi kimya mazee. Mambo vipi wewe? Ndio mambo fresh mshikaji wangu ndo kuamka. Kuamka saa hizi wewe kwani jana usiku ulikuwa wapi? Umesahau kuna session leo. Headbangers niko umesahau. Oh mazee. Okay man, come say please man. Saa hizi manze ujue studio haisubiri mtu rafiki yangu. Poa mshikaji. Hamna noma bana. Usikose. Sawa. Fast mzuka. Okay. Hai.
Ninapotoka mimi natoka na asira ya mkiss, nachomoka chipkiss, nasonga bila iris zako twatema music, twaandika mashairi, kila kukicha twavuta mabiri, mistari iliyo na wili, kibako nafikiri, tumekuja kucheza na sanaa moyoni na kili, kumebana na mziki, natumia akili, kimwili na nawili, ajenari, master na maslai, nipesenda mupani vi, hai, napetana pwani vina, mziki unacheka jina, toka zama na zama, tumesinduka wetazama, kaja hip hop, mekite kimisingi, usiulize nani, Sharama, aka Mupange.
Bwana tunajua tena, mdo wa hip hop, ndo sitopenda, nikanivo, Sharama na kimya, so brother man, usijaribu liza jina, tunajua tena, mdo wa hip hop, ndo sitopenda, nikanivo, Sharama na kimya, so brother man, usijaribu liza jina,
haya kimya na nyamazisha na finga na elimisha, nimetinga kikosi cha mizinga na nafundisha wana ujinga, hawa vijana watoto wa mama hawana skills za kugeuza, wakati kila nachoguza wanataka kuuza takataka, kuvunja game ya marapa sikutunza, love stories wanatunga, ndoto za unga na macho na chunga, polisi kwa msako, ganja na sunda kwa kichwa ya rasa, macho ya nyanya, asili za waziri kusanya pesa, kucheza chess na life ya watu unblessed, tunakaribia kuwa fiatu wepesi, sina viatu baridi, hisia kwa chest imezidi, bora ni rest in peace at ease, soldier, kimya, HB, shut up.
Nairobi tumefika tuko tika, ebangers na nyumba kushaharibika, choma sleeves again, kwenye streets za sense, ikukona kibos, cha mizinga. Bwana tunajua tena, mdo wa hip hop, ndo sitopenda, nikanivo, Sharama na kimya, so brother man, usijaribu liza jina, tunajua tena, mdo wa hip hop, ndo sitopenda,
kimajeshi, babu usipendi uzushi, usilete upuzi, tumekubebea gunia la ujuzi. Tangu juzi unashangaa vipi tujakata uzi, talenta iuzi, rhyme zetu zina stick kwa damu yako kama ukimwi. Niite zimwi, jitu la mbali, mweusi shinda kiwi, lakini hip hop ndio dini, ni laana kwa hii kizazi kama kuzini. Bendera tunaipeperusha magharibi kusini, mitaani kote mpaka mashinani, mashambani, msera wa semani, kwani uelewi hii tathmini. Kakando kama huwezani, nipe nafasi jamani. Underground kuna vipaji chini ya maji, hatuhitaji majaji, hata maloya tunao maskani. Basi mzuka usipime, pia usijinyime, bora nishibe, niangushe, heshimu game au sio?
Kenya bongo wakutana ndani ya hip, usilete utani. Kenya bongo wakutana ndani ya hip.
Ezimbo nitadusi wezi kuno nini, mange manzi labda kama tie kiberiti nitoe homa kichwani, ama nipatie maji nitoe kali kinywani. Ningane na padri niende zangu kanisani, nikatubu dhambi zangu niwe msafi kama maji. Utafikaje peponi wakati unaona mwache yule kipofu adela zake na Mola? Una magonjwa, unateseka, ni kesho tu wezako watakuzika. Uliona sifa kungana na malaya au kutumia mpira, ona sasa unatuacha. Ndo kwanza na kwanza bado sijakwisha, niko mbichi zaidi ya mbichi, zaidi ya mwanamke bika. Niko mbichi zaidi ya mbichi kama mtoto aliyezaliwa, na bado ninang'ara kama msomi master. Vile napendwa ni kama ile pesa, ni kama kile chakula cha mchana. Na mengi miaka ila nalo shujaa kama simba, sichoki kuta wanna be. Sasa check ni very handsome ila na change paper kama Jay-Z wa Rockefeller. It's simple man and I ain't skimming.
Aha, D-Dash, niko study kama somi, siogopi story, ini history. Uko na macho lakini uone, unakula unaona. Survive kwa bahari ya mawazo, tangu kitambo, navumilia kasoni ya na time. Niko tayari kama mzazi, mwana kulilia. Ni uwanja wazi, so inabidi kazi. Ini true kako run, track ina run, yote ni God's plan. Najiandaa kasajo, sioni soni juu, ni ugonjwa boni. Mi ndiye mabao kwa ndege yangu ya fikra, mi ndiye dawa kwa ndege yangu ya fikra. Na kau na kiu, mi ni maji kwa birika. Nitaendelea kuegemea, sioni kulemewa. Ni mzigo, nilifika, game iliniita na nitika. Nitaipigania mpaka mwisho wa dakika.
Kenya bongo wakutana ndani ya hip.
Conscious, jobless, jobless. Sisi na mawazo.
Kenya bongo wakutana ndani ya hip.
Conscious, jobless, jobless.
Cheese and brain, ndani ya beat, extortion, saka, kama MU, Ukoo Flani, explosion.
You get double up, you get double up.
Hata walete wizi kwa kazi, tunawandalia teachings mezani. Tangu enzi za nyatiti zamani, wanajua sisi ni nani. Sikifichi utadhani ni mazishi ya polisi mtaani, ni mazishi ya polisi
mitaani. Tangu era za kamjeshi mpaka era za Chavez, Mirari anasema hakuna do, yote limalizo na Moi na Kamlesh. Michuki anasema mishipi tu faste, tunajua si watu zihitaji, si fly na makape, tukihaso masidi na makate. The bigger the depth, the wambo na Kenya rest, the bigger the budget.
Yes, Rasta, kuze ghetto, manifesto, harufu ya tension, kunuki jasho, venye na struggle, sabuni ya baso, goza dona, bado taniona, gari za first class, mali za Javas, punguza alsas, mili na plasters.
Hata walete wizi kwa kazi, tunawandalia teachings mezani. Tangu enzi za nyatiti zamani, wanajua sisi ni nani. Sikifichi utadhani
ukatwate meyuka mkase you back in the 50s utaresist ama utacollaborate the British Tuesday na kina Daulika Baka in the 60s na go way back before wanaumwa kwa mabinti na wanajidai masoja hasa ya vita watakupita watakukana mara tatu njogo ikifika jingo fundisha simba kuwinda jingo udhika na maandishi naandika yo wanatambulika kiomejificha kwa giza ndio mama kama piramidi usilini katawa ya pizza hawasima MC hali maseki lyrics zao ni mini za event dictate wana imitate kazaliwa 78 Kenya ikagongwa na earthquake ziko incidents kunikimbiwa kivingivya 98
shala kuwa focus as far as kodi umetoka kila kibanda kama imechoka kila kijana anga amekonda kila mtawa ngale performa bila zaka kuna importance sana kwenye post mazisha likosa kwa concert zile conscious mazisha tupo cemetery na mistari legendary tembekali acha hata walete wizi kwa kazi tunawandalia teachings mezani tangu enzi za nyatiti zamani wanajua sisi ni nani sikifichi utadhani ni mazishi ya polisi mtaani ni mazishi ya polisi mtaani hata walete wizi kwa kazi tunawandalia teachings mezani tangu enzi za nyatiti zamani wanajua sisi ni nani sikifichi utadhani ni mazishi ya polisi mtaani ni mazishi ya ni mazishi ya ni mazishi ya ni mazishi ya polisi mtaani Cheese and brain done a bit extortion
What's up people, this is VB rapping Yaki-san and you're listening to Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug.
Back again, and you know it's the beat maker, not the beat taker. You know how we do. 10 fingers in the air. And if you don't know, you better ask your mom or ask a Kenyan with a good ear. Yes, it's hip-hop all the way. Are you hearing that music? Yes, Ukoo Flani and Mau Mau. You know? That's hip-hop for real. That's hip-hop for real. When you ain't, like I said, you ain't saying much, but you're just nodding your head. You know it's sunk in. It's sunk in like crazy. You know? One of the things that that people keep on saying right now, and I want to get your views on this, but one of the views, as we're talking about today about Ukoo Flani, but one of the views that people say is, and that's what they say, I personally feel this way, is hip-hop dead? I feel that hip-hop ain't dead in the 254. It is definitely not dead. And just people like Ukoo Flani coming doing their thing, they're showing that it's not dead. They're showing that it still has a voice. You know, a lot of people are saying, oh, yeah, it's died out. Yeah, guys are still rapping, but it's died out. You know, I mean, Afrobeats took over. Amapiano took over. Where is hip-hop nowadays? Well, we're playing hip-hop, so you better know who it is, you know? And if you were to choose, come out and choose right now and say, hey, this is the best artist coming out of the 254 in hip-hop, in rap music, who would it be? Because people forget, there is hip-hop and then there's rap music. Rap music is like the baby. It's like the baby of the culture. Because there were graffiti artists, of course, there were DJs, there's R&B artists, of course, who are there doing their thing. There's other people within the culture. So the last of them was like the rap move that came up but became the strongest, you know? So if you were to choose right now in Kenya in the 254, who would you choose that you feel like, hey, this is the best? Now, a lot of guys come and say they go for the usual, but once again, hip-hop doesn't live and die in Nairobi. It doesn't, you know? Kenyan hip-hop is a mass-wide thing. It's all over. If you go to Kikuyu land, you know, you find artists out there doing their thing. Like there's one that interact with, it's called Kobole, the king of Kikuyu rap. That's what he calls himself, you know. The other guys, you go to Mombasa, you find Ukoo Flani, you find other artists out from there, You go into Kisumu. Let's not even talk about Kisumu has a lot of different rappers who are coming up, you know, and they've done their thing also. If you even go to Embu, you find rappers over there. We go to Machakos, you find rappers over there. So if you were to choose right now and say, hey, these are the guys who I really feel that are dropping it hard, who would you say it is? Now, back in the days, we had Ukoo Flani, and we still have them doing their thing. And one thing that they're known for is actually their themes and their lyrical content. If you want to be a great rapper, you know, really great, whether it's from the past to the present, you have to have some lyrical content. You have to have something that's going to stand out, something that's going to make people stop and hear you out. I've seen a few rappers out there, and people literally hear them doing their flow. They do the 1-2 bars, you know. Some people say they do their popcorn lyrics, you know, and they're like, oh, man, on to the next. You know, this guy's just not kicking it, you know. And so now it's like we have rappers who come out and put out their thing, and you want to hear more and more and more. And I feel Ukoo Flani has that within them. They have those themes. They have the lyrical content. You know, one of the things that they're known for is and I said this before, they have these lyrics that address real issues, you know. One of the things they talk about actually is government corruption, you know. That's really big, especially right now, what Kenya is going through. Now, I'm not here to go all political and everything, but corruption is happening in our country. There's a lot of stuff that's going on that we may see, some stuff we don't see, you know. So when they're coming out and they're speaking about things like, when they're speaking about things that they feel, things that they've seen, you know, which is important. That's what hip hop is also about. It's about speaking your truth, but speaking from your heart. You know, another thing that they talk about, and they've talked about in the past, is tribalism, you know. And, you know, oh, man, when you get in tribalism over here, there's a lot of things we can cover. I always tell people always tell me, you know, like, oh, for you guys who have lived abroad, you know, they always have this misbelief that abroad things are better, you know. And I always tell them, you know, in Africa, we have tribalism. You know, it doesn't matter where you go in Africa, there's tribalism. But in the countries abroad, what they have racism, you know. And when you look at how they talk about each other and what they do, it's kind of the same thing. Tribalism, racism is the same thing. You know, just wears a different hat. You know, that's the way it is, you know. And people don't like hearing those truths, but they're real out there, you know. So when and hip hop has been one of the movement, rappers have been one of the people in the culture that have really talked about these issues, you know, about tribalism, racism, corruption, you know, it's all come out. And I feel like there is an entertaining side of hip hop, which is great, where you just want to get up and dance and just dance around. But also we can't ignore that there's things going about, the things that need to be talked about. Another thing that Ukoo Flani were known to talk about was HIV and AIDS, you know. And, of course, a lot has been talked about HIV and AIDS. The other thing that's been talked about is unemployment. A lot of the youth right now in our country are going through unemployment. Yes, the government said, actually, they said that they would provide more jobs, but the youth are still there languishing and saying, hey, they said this would be done, how come it hasn't been done? And so once again, the hip-hop community comes and they speak about it through their music, you know, because that's a good way of getting people to listen. I don't know if it's a good way of getting people to listen in Parliament, but it's a good way of getting people to listen generally, you know. So employment, you know. And another issue that's strong in hip-hop that Ukoo Flani talked about is the day life in the ghetto, you know, and the things that they go through. Everyone has a different way they live their life. So they're giving their story of what they've come from. And I feel that's very, very important about talking about, like, where you come from, what you do. Some people are like, oh, this person doesn't and I always say this, they say, like, this person can't understand about real life because they grew up in the suburban area. And the thing I always say, suburban guys have their own issues. They're just not your issues. The guys in the ghetto have their own issues. They're just not your issue. Everyone has an issue, you know, but hip hop has played a big part in bringing out issues, you know, so you resonate and understand what people are going through. Now, you may not understand everything, Like when I hear sometimes some rappers talk about things that happen in Brooklyn or New York, that's all good. But it doesn't mean that you're gonna understand it. And I feel that's what happened a lot, like in gangster rap also, when it came up, where you hear about the bad boy in America versus death row. Death row was on the West Coast. You're talking about West Coast, talking about areas like California, where those areas, and then you're talking about East Coast, New York, or that. So it's like they were like, "Hey, this is how we do hip hop over here," and the West Coast like, "This is how we do hip hop over here." But even though there's an issue that came out, everyone knows about what happened between Biggie and Tupac. People didn't stop loving the music, whether it was from the East or the West, because they felt like in hip hop they were saying something, and it was something entertaining, something that they could relate with, And now, not everyone. Sometimes when you put out music and you're a rapper, they'll be like, "Oh man, this music is too commercial. It's not for me. I want more like conscious music. I want more underground hip hop." Once again, that's up to you. That's what your taste is. But I feel like Ukoo Flani have a good way of putting out their music and making it in a way that's conscious, but still the way you want to jam and dance to it in a way that it can be relatable. So that's a great thing, and big props to them. And when you come down to Mau Mau now, you hear this all the time. They say the group members often refer to themselves as Watoto wa Mau Mau, children of the Mau Mau. They say that the great grandparents, or they fought for the freedom of this country. They were the Mau Mau freedom fighters. And so there's that pride of how they represent, and having understanding where you come from as an artist, even in this day and age, is very important. Now I know there's a different split of hip hop that's going on in Kenya right now. Like just not long ago, we heard about the beef that was going on between Brooklyn Boys and Toxic Lyrically. I feel that's a different kind of hip hop, because that was more like essence of drill and what's it called, dance hall, a bit of dance hall and a bit of like trap drill also in there, and so the generation that's there right now that's coming up, a lot of these guys, you don't hear them really talking about like stuff that's conscious, because right now guys are just about, hey, we want to make that record, we want to make that paper, or as they say back in the days, we want to make those Benjamins, and so they're more focused on that. So their way of relating to their peers is a bit different, and so, but music transcends through all kinds of generations. It doesn't make a difference, and so we're affected by the past and we're still affected by the present, So one of the great albums that actually came out when we talk about hip hop, we talk about Kenyan hip hop, and I wasn't around when this album came out. I remember I was in London at that time. I was living and working. But it's like, I remember when this album came out, it touched me. I kept on listening to it every day. Every day I kept on listening to it, And that's how, through that album, after that album came out, that's how even I got to know about like Ukoo Flani and Mau Mau. I got to link up with them and talk with them, So Ukoo Flani's Mau Mau's first album that we hear about is Kilio cha Haki. And Kilio cha Haki was a great project, The minds and brains that put it together, it was great. The production was great. Lyrical content was excellent. There's no denying that. Kilio cha Haki means cry for justice. And this was released in 2006. And I remember it was on CD. I remember I got the CD. It was sent to me all the way to the house where I was living. It was actually sent to me. And I was just like, oh, man. I kept on listening, like, this is awesome, man. This is where, they remember us guys when we came up from the early hip-hop in like, we're talking about like 91, 92, 93, You know, that's when we were doing our thing. You know, that's when we were performing all the way up to like 97, 98 there. But now it's like you see a new form of rappers coming up and they're speaking their truth. You got to remember, there was a big breakthrough in 1998, around 98, when Kalamashaka dropped Tafsiri Heat. And that changed, it changed the momentum in Kenya. It doesn't matter whether you were uptown or downtown, it doesn't make a difference. It changed the momentum of how music was heard. So later on now, when we hear Kilio Chahaki, in 2000, the album was released in 2006. You're like, yo, this is a different kind of hip hop, but I'm loving it. And they had this song. I remember one of the songs I heard was called "All Over the World," and I remember hearing that song playing. I was just like, it was catchy. They're talking their truth, but it was still danceable. It's still that kind of, you could play it on mainstream, you can play it on the non-mainstream markets and everything, and it will still work out. And so it was excellent to hear it. Now, this album featured 18 tracks, and among the 18 tracks, it tackled various social and political issues in Kenya, such as, once again, corruption, tribalism, and violence. And the interesting is, in 2026, we're still facing that stuff, in 2026. So it was a good start for where it started from and where it was being talked openly, But corruption is big. Anywhere you go around, even if you go around the city, you go around your area where you live, you see it, It's in your face. It's not hidden. And the thing is, like I feel in Africa, corruption is more in your face, It's there straight in your face, when you just get out, you see it, It's there. Some of these other countries, there is corruption, but it's a bit hidden, but it doesn't mean they're not corrupt. Some of them are even more corrupt than Africa, It's just that you don't see it, that it's not in your face. But in Africa, it's in your face, corruption is straight in your face, And once again, tribalism, you hear people talk about tribes, and it comes down to if something happens, so hiyo lazima kuwa Mjaluo, ama lazima kuwa Mkikuyu, or Kalenjin. They break it down, and you wonder, so is that what I'm in? I'm in a nutshell now, So they were talking about this on their records, And of course, again, we can't forget about the violence part. There is a lot of violence that happens, and hip-hop community is known for talking about violence, And they step up to talk about violence, because it's it doesn't mean that other art forms, music art forms, don't talk about these things. It just means that hip-hop music, rap music is like poetry. So there's a certain way they phrase their music that it just hits home. It hits you at the core, and it begins to make you think, There are other art forms of music that are very deep in how they put out music. One of them is jazz music, and a lot of people nowadays forget, but a lot of hip-hop, in terms of when you hear about this conscious music, you hear about this, what they call boom bap music, you hear about the production, how they put it together. A lot of that instrumentation came from jazz records, because jazz also, they had their own way of speaking what was on their mind in a way that was very straight to the point, that would make you understand, okay, I've got to change my way, my system. But the thing about Kilio Chahaki, as we said, Cry for Justice, it made you think about, even though I wasn't around, it makes you think about what's really going on at home. It puts you in that place where you got to think. So it was great to hear that, Later on in 2008, the group released an album, Mwisho wa Mwanzo. So there's some talk about this, about how the lyrics in this album, some people will be like, it was great. Some people feel like it didn't have that ripple effect that was needed, Once again, music is about perception, about how you feel about certain kinds of music, And so some people felt like that about it, But once again, whether you feel that it was great or wasn't great, they're coming out and speaking their truth. And I feel for you to be a great artist in what you do, you got to be able to just speak your truth, in the music that you do, in the genre that you've chosen to do. But here on The Vote, we're talking about hip hop, and hip hop has a big place that it plays. Now, I've seen, like I said, I saw a lot of artists come back in the days. They dropped out serious records in this land of ours, this country of ours, of Kenya. They dropped serious records. And I remember talking about this with someone the other day, but you don't hear about those artists anymore. It's like they evaporated. They disappeared, They disappeared, Their music disappeared. And some of their music disappeared, man. It's like the flow, you can't even find it. If you go look for it online, you can't even find the music, So I say sometimes the music disappeared the way the music disappeared like the Running Man. Remember back in the 90s, there was this dance move called the Running Man? It's like you're running, but you're dancing on the spot. Like, that's how their music disappeared. It's no longer around. And all the time you get asked, so what happened to this artist? Where did they go to? Where, like, people remember them, but then you can't find their music, And art forms of music is sometimes hard to keep up. For new artists that are coming up, what I think is they have that energy, they have that zeal, they have that so-called time to do a lot of this stuff. And so they'll go in the studio, they'll get out there, they'll put out their music. But some of the artists that are a bit older are beginning to think like, hey, I'm getting older and my life ain't the same as it was. So where am I moving with life? What do I need to do that I haven't done? But when you're younger, music kind of takes over your body, takes kind of over your soul. And you're like, hey, this is all that I want to do. So like if you're in your 20s, your early 20s, and then maybe you meet an artist later on who's in their 40s, maybe they're not there anymore. They left the game because they're like, yeah, man, I need to move on. I have a family and I have other stuff that I'm taking care of. Now, even guys of Ukoo Flani have the kids, have families, all that, and to see them come back together and really take time and put out an album, and take time and showcase, not just put out an album, because a lot of artists put out albums, but they never showcase them. So it's like that good. It's like that brand new jeans that you bought and you went and you bought them and they looked really good on you, but you just keep them in the closet. They never come out. So no one even knows how they look like on you. No one can even say, oh man, they look that outfit looks wonderful on you, because they've never seen it. And that's how music is for some people. They have all these records that they've worked on, but they never showcase them. Others put out records, too many records, they put a lot of records and they never really look at the content they're putting out. They never look at the content, whether it's great or it's not, but they just keep on putting out content because they just feel they want to record and record and record and record, but it's going nowhere. And the real essence of finding out whether people love your music, because once again, the music's created for the public. It's not just created for you. It starts with you, but it's created for the public. And so the public, when they listen to music, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, I like this. This one I didn't really resonate to, but it's okay. But this one, so you begin to understand what really works for the market, So I feel like a lot of artists who are coming up, they have that time, they have that energy, So like I said, seeing Ukoo come back and put in that energy, put in that time where they're working also with other producers, they're going into the studio. Like I said, they came in, also worked with me in the studio, and recorded some music together, which was good, seeing them all together. They're going out there and not just saying, hey, we've recorded music, but they're putting together videos, they're putting out their music out there, so people can have a listen to it and people can purchase it. If you go on their page and check out their music on the Ukoo Flani page, you'll see that you can actually purchase their album that they've just put out. So go get a chance. Let's support Kenyan music. Let's not just sit on it. The other album that was great, of course, that also Mau Mau was on, was like, you hear songs like Dandoro Love, Of course, you hear Hip Hop Halisi. Hip Hop Halisi is a great record, you know. It's your place today. We play that record even still on Icon Radio, so it's a great record to listen to. Then there's of course Mizani, Mizani, you know about Mizani. You know, also hearing voices on the record, people like Mchizigaza, you know. Of course, there's Soto Millions, you know. There's another record that was great and is great. And then, of course, Burn Them. And they performed Burn Them at the show they did last Friday at Allianz, you know. And it was great seeing them perform that with all the energy, you know, giving that hip-hop, but also that dancehall vibe, you know. It was great seeing it, you know, that dancehall reggae vibe. It was great seeing them. Burn Them. And, of course, you know, having Wenyeji there on that project also. So, we have a whole history. We have a whole history of Kenyan music that is great. So sometimes when I hear people say that we don't have good music in Kenya, you know, sometimes I just feel like, yo, just sit down, or like leave the room, like, because we have great artists. We have wonderful artists in our country, and we need to promote them more. I saw this thing online the other day that they're saying this Blankets and Wine that is coming up. The lead artist is gonna be there, you know, who performs on a Blankets and Wine is actually an artist from Nigeria, and a female artist. And when I checked the comments out, what a lot of people are saying, a lot of Kenyans on that particular page were like, hold on a second. How does this help us Kenyan artists? How does it help the Kenyan artists if we're just there promoting there's nothing wrong. Once again, Africa's Africa. We all show love in Africa. But the thing is, Kenya has a problem of not really promoting their own artists. And this has been going on for a long time. Now, we need to promote more of what Kenyans are doing. It doesn't mean that we exclude artists from other countries. It just means we need to give our own artists priority. I've been to other countries where it's like you see them giving their own their nationals, you know, they give them priority on the mic to perform, even if someone's coming from abroad or what. That's not sometimes the main focus. The main focus is their own people. And I feel there was a time in Kenya where probably around the 2000s, where we used to really focus on our own Kenyan music, that even other people wanted to come in and, you know, join the stage, get involved in what Kenya was doing. I remember I was talking to this guy at Bongo Star Search, MJ, and he was telling me that some of the stuff that he learned in the early days is when he came to Kenya. And he learned it when he spent time with Ted Josiah. You know, of course, if there's a producer who put his name out there early and changed the name, and for a lot of artists who are doing music, is Ted Josiah. But he said that one of the person who challenged him to even come to Kenya was a guy that he knew and started coming a lot to Kenya. That's AY. When AY just said, hey, I want to see what Kenyan guys are doing, because there's something they're doing right that we're not doing in Tanzania, you know? And so it's like at that particular time in Kenya, Kenyan music was big, but somehow something changed, you know, where we started focusing more on other countries instead of ourselves, you know. And even when Kenyan artists do put out music, it's like people are like, so, you know, like promoters are like, no, I want to focus on these others. So now of late, we're seeing more and more music coming out of Kenya. Is more like Kenyan music. At the same time, it's ethnic music. It's our tribal music, you know, not tribalistic, but tribal music, you know, and that's a good thing, you know. So Ukoo Flani, they played their part, and their history will never be lost. I feel it will never be lost unless we choose not to keep on talking about it. But they play a big history, a big life lesson on on music and how to put music together and how to come together. Both Ukoo Flani and Mau Mau come together and show unity, how to put out great Kenyan hip-hop. And I just hope the newer generation that's coming up right now will hear this music and identify with it. So we're going to take a break right now as we listen to some more music from Ukoo Flani. So keep on tuning in. You're the beat maker, not the beat taker on the vault. 10 fingers in the air.
Yo, 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 yeah. Msema yo, yo. Hii mtaa ilinielimisha nje ya madirisha na licha ya mimi na wiji pekee kuwa mashifta. Kuna wengine ambao sitaji majina na timu na wale jana usiku usingizi walikunyima indio, walikuficha maticha wakole. Huyu ana mbuyu, yule ako na bullet kwa mwili, hakumaliza shule, education ya bure. Wale wako na talent lakini wanajidai waizi wa wallet. Angalia around wale uko nao, kuna wale unaona hawana ubao, na ni wangapi wale uko nao ni walevi mpaka mkono ni heavy kupeleka kwa mdomo, na chakula iko ready na savings zote za mwezi zilishia kwa ulevi. Na nyisikizeni nyimbo, si tuko simple. Huyo pimpa kona pimpo, cheki hawa wazae wameretire kwa bar, wamelewa wanaimba ile song ya kuna dawa. Mziki majina nyingi wanaipa bill, wabunge hawaipa gazeti, hawaichapishi koti, hawaiapishi malalamishi kwa wapishi, amridhishi ladha kilomita kadhaa mbali na Makoni. Johnny alitoa maoni kuhusu vile hawa mahomi wanastaili maombi, hawelewi kwenda obi. Nairobi ni hobby, umeingia kwa matope na open, natembea na nyumba yote kakobe, na siku usibei ya earrings auto inatoshana nao kubai maplot Kayole. Ni point vidole tusikuone ho na mapanja college. Kwa sasa tuonane lakini tusiachane bila namba na address. Gata press tunakata race katikati kuwaletea ujumbe kutoka madukani.
Shifter album inauzwa kwa maduka zote, tangu ninunue ina keep busy. Hadi white stock rust bei ya kutupa.
Feel free kunichukulia V3 unipeleke kwa afande, mkono zangu hazina grip nitaibaje. Kali kupiga ngumi ilikuwa reflex. In the meanwhile kuagree kuachana na mi, makaratasi zimesainiwa mizilia 1963. Ile mbio tunapeleka nayo mchezo inastahili TLB. Unaweza dhani si upaka grease miguu, barabara tulieka mara, mjina tulikwara kwa simiti mbichi. Ni biashara sasa itabidi ya restaurant kutufuata. Lugha ya kuhata masikio za idara ya upelelezi na raia kwa jumla inabakiwa na ipima na kucha na karas ka unga na waya kanyaga ka aga kan ta aga kan. Nimetimiza kile na kimbiza. Msinitarajie kuleni pande yenu, mniachie yangu msinikanyagie. Katumelewana toa miwili basi nipasie methali, zinafanya niingie kejani kezani. Ndio hizi begani medali, wembe za upasuaji, jembe za uzalishaji, mavuno beikali. Ndio hizi nani chizi kuliko brain.
Yeah, UKOO Mau ndani ya Flani.
Fanya tutaifanya tena na kama tulisema sisi rudi
Yeah, UKOO Mau ndani ya Flani.
Fanya mambo kwa wasee wangu wa mtaa.
Fanya tutaifanya tena na kama tulisema sisi rudi
Mambo yale yale, hata ukiamka ngware bado mambo pale pale.
Nairobi, take one, take two, karibu sana. Representative wa ngoma ndevu slash mangatula mekuja. Karibu sana. Invitation sana ask kwa nini mkuta miruka. Tafishwa bashi ile kutoa tu chuja zinanuka. Makasmas meshua freshia kwa nyumba hakuna. Machungu kila mahali mandugu ni masura wanakuja. Ungesema either ni masafari kenama ni mapula wanakunywa. Fesi mtu unamkepaniza na kula machuri. Ama ma feelings shinda mchiza lirushonga super. Ndio maana weather leo kesho ama kesho kuto utakutwa. The witness amba mapanga na akikunja mafupa. Angalia kama bado meno iko kwa flow ndiye alijikuta natafuta shikanisho joo waya uji tu hakuna kutafuna whether sideways mbele ama nyuma nakuta topic ni ile soto kinenge true ile hizo chains zako moyo upite face tu sikapea hapa hizo mikono uziweke juu pitisha hiyo chain bota ndula mongorio na walenje tu kishida hilo flani kuresist jeshi ya ngumi not to mention kwa be essential na mateke punge sema nile game ya PlayStation Tekken 2.
Do it again. Where's whoa, hey, yeah. You can't touch these Mau Mau soldiers will fight.
Take two.
Ukoo Flani Mau Mau in the house tonight. The beats back to flip when we write. Hey yo, high as a kite, different colors the weed excite. In the K-Cell shop, nursing the tracks back to health. Cause his lyrics is so sick. Nowadays cats is just a little too slick. For their own good, Douglas Durango, Robin Hood from Alcacuyu, Unajua, Kina Yangu, en route. Whether it's 30, 105 or 102, no one give a damn what you've been through. It's all good to just do. Peace to Ken Muhammad Ali, Moms, Layla, Ivana, and of course Lulu. It's the practice that makes you the lyrical guru. Got connections from Kino to Kisu to Lamuru. Eastland like Boo Boo. Rip like Solar Star became the ruler. And y'all cats think you're hot, but you're way cooler.
Kifo changu kicheko kwao, nyumba yangu ni kubwa sana, alisema vizuri sana, inaweza toshea mapasta, magangsta, mamasa, machozi wanamwaga, in search of an answer, ni gaga, ndio maana nawasha mic na kansa, kurasa za vitabu zinaaka kama paka, maisha tisa, nimeacha mabradha wakiombewa kwa kanisa, kwa jina la kuunganisha, heri na wakilisha, sababisha kijana na ikebisha, elimisha katika hali erevusha, ndio kitu tuna expect but kutabadilika, nishike kwa joints and chip lika, ama nikiplay dika, mugaka na dai ni pay dinga shinga.
Mambo yale yale, hata ukiamka ngware bado mambo pale pale.
Walijishuk, walikuwa mbacho, wakajiona makruk. Wanafuendo mbona jimigadhu, watu tuk. Hii ni safari, vaa boot za saunya. Matawi zilezaji, these roots, vaa suit za kaunda. Kuna mwere mwingine ndani ya nyumba, hakuna. Mpaka merudi, fukuza panya. Mavocha zimezushi sana, simbe mezirusha nyama. Ziache pupa bana, ziache na DC, zingane na mafisi. Kulanga mfupa bana, zibanga ufu, zibanga ufu, naundanga ukuta. Kesi unahitaji lumumba, au mutula, kilonzo. Sibari kama mikono ziko kombosho. Hapa sisari, hapa ni kipu songovo. Tao za vasa, album zima ni hizo goro za tao. Unaputwa na MAU ka umedoro kwa hao.
Can't touch these Mau Mau soldiers will fight. Ukoo Flani Mau Mau in the house tonight. The beats back to flip when we write. Where's
yeah.
Hustler da Ibra, wasta kama Stiba, niko tight kama Bikra. Ibra na tema fikra kama elimu ya Ikra. The hustler mepinda most wanted kama Jira. Fly track dark nigga, cheki taswira kauli kuona bari. Hii game nimeimari, jemedari kama Mula Umari. Natema mistari kasi kama risasi, muasi na asi. Niko underground kama Max Mwadui. Rasi unijui, naweza kuwa rafiki pia naweza kuwa adui. Mini full murui, natoka niko toka mbali. time kubali mie MC mkali, wanatambua kila mahali, naribu sijali, naribia hata serikali. Kwani kitu gani? Naishi kwenye ulimwengu wa generali, naongozwa na real sio madidi, hali inanifanya kuwa gaidi na bado na faidi, niko full kafidi, kikosi kwenye rapa bosi, misosi wagosi wanazingua kaya na wote ndani ya sanaa wanaojuza kama mother ibada hustler tool.
Tunawapiga bao, tumejihami na mapunchline kibao, kikosi cha mizinga Ukoo Mau Mau, tunawaripia kwenye viwanja zao. Tunawapiga bao, tumejihami na mapunchline kibao, kikosi cha mizinga Ukoo Mau Mau, tunawaripia kwenye viwanja zao.
I drop flow like cannabis, is this? Can I bust just like a boss moves trust? Bust your jaw, it's your loss, be the boss, tossing, a lyrical flaws causing us to be flossing. A portion, approach with caution, pausing, distortion, fast like the ocean, I sip proposing. My first notion is game erosion, first verse explosion, fakes are posing, hoes are exposing. We all lost the chosen one, the prodigal son, where it all begun, how it goes and how it comes. Money ain't funny, streets is hard, cold and dark, that's why I spark from the heart. Part, don't give a fuck about the chart. From the start in the neighborhood, dogs bark, bite victims in car parks in broad daylight. Put up a fight, try to pull out a knife, lose your life, think twice, alright? Your soul is the price, like a game of dice, cold as ice. Red, black or white, red eyes with blurred sight. I still right, whether I'm wrong or right. Take flights to reach higher heights. We get high to get by, struggle to make it, so we hustle and take it. Barely making ends meet, ain't it? Unfortunate, forcing it to be what we want it to be. Your ultimate destiny for infinity. Life's a test to me. I got a pass, make it back. HIV in a fat car accident. My in a fat cast. I had beef. Last thing I heard was the blast of the eagle. Not a bird, not a word on the streets. The end of the world.
Yeah, niko na home nyingi kushinda maboys o mic raba. In fact chakwa mkimbizi na John ndio naitwanga, so sinafai nipatie hivi macalls na mic saba kwa kuleta hali ya taharuki. Toka nduki kampangaji mwisho mwezi landlord akidai kwanja, hata kabla nibishe mlango kwa babai kanga wakaushe aka sub zero. Wamefreeze joto wanadai flana, temperatures zimepita za huko Mombasa na mbali sana. Zinedine Zidane starting lineup ya Real Madrid, na hiyo inamaanisha huku utoboi kudai namba plus striker wao shachoka kohoya na dai sub. Ni mambo na kumark territory, kwa hivyo madogi za mitaa zingine hazikojoi mitani hapa kuifanya iwe ngumu kwa ujamaa wa yoyo kubai manga, kunimwagia unga ili kuona unga ya jogoo kimwagi kanga. Saa zingine hata blue ya madondo sijaipata, wanchwani ya taros kwa ile noma ni shy hata situation ukuta nyuma ya mgongo kashai vana. In the process I can't take it no more, na dai kamba tishia kutihangi hivi ama kuthreaten kujirusha kutoka kwa building kama KCC. Akili zipazo kiko flow ni die fast. Juma heta wakisikia hivyo watafurahi sana, smile kushinda ule jamana kwanga kwa promo ya chai jaba. Budel flani anytime kwa socks utawaiganja, alafu tukishaji bonga fresh ndio do wataitana. Kwisha
tunawapiga bao, tumejihami na mapunchline kibao, kikosi cha mizinga Ukoo Mau Mau, tunawaripia kwenye viwanja zao. Tunawapiga bao, tumejihami na mapunchline kibao, kikosi cha mizinga Ukoo Mau Mau, tunawaripia kwenye viwanja zao.
Ama back up nini?
Kanitenda, kanivunja moyo, kushinda mara mia lakini nakupenda sana. Maovu kanitenda, kanivunja moyo, kushinda mara mia lakini nakupenda sana. Nifanye nini na shindwa kuendelea, maisha hayafani bila wewe. Kakupa yangu na
pia moyo wangu, na kwa hayo yote ukaivunja. Kufungua tu macho niliget umeenda, nikijuta kweli we umenitenda. Oh baby, oh, bado nakutaka, maovu kanitenda, kanivunja moyo, kushinda mara 100 lakini nakupenda sana.
Adam ako lonely kwa garden, only smile ya princess, style ya empress, neza impress priest in this sense ya common consciousness. Far to hal condom businesses, hormone weaknesses. Alitoka Somali siku ya wona, hata ana alama ya kisu. Mrembo wezi muimagine akiruka landmine, Mogadishu milisha na maweapon litu. Bado kwa buibui, bado mvumilivu, na nikiingia Kenya na kutawanchiku sana na mheshimu juu. Watoto wezi lala njaka, anaiza hasoka, anaiza struggle. Ananikumbusha modoni na njaro zako film masho. Anastahili sifa, anaiza weka siri za vita, na nikiingia mvita nakuta mekatilili wamenza. Na nikivuka boda ninge Ethiopia nakuta malkia wa Sheba. Makeda hekima imeshinda pesa, ufalme akaleta. Gone till December ama gone till November, bado nampenda, bado nampenda, penda Mama Africa, yeah, Mama Africa.
Sikiza, nadhani ujui ukweli, been thinking about you daily, usiku misilani. Oh, naumia, sijui nifanye nini ili we uwe na mimi. Ndiyo mambo kama haya yasinitende mi, kuwa na huzuni, kuchanganyikiwa, chakula sikuli, na pia oh.
Skiza baby,
Baby, nakupenda, wangu wa milele. Oh, usiniwache mpenzi ndo, maovu kanitenda, kanivunja moyo, kushinda mara 100 lakini nakupenda sana. Maovu kanitenda, kanivunja moyo, kushinda mara 100 lakini nakupenda sana. Maovu kanitenda, kanivunja moyo, kushinda mara 100 lakini nakupenda sana. Maovu kanitenda, kanivunja moyo, kushinda mara 100 lakini nakupenda sana.
Dandara, yeah. Kauko fulani lazima tushukuru God kwa pale ametufikisha mzee on fire. Ndio maana tunamshukuru na roho yetu yote, God tusamehe, yeah. Mungu Baba, utufunike na mabawa, protection tukijaza snare kick na bar. Ndani ya commandments kuna reward na customer za mwili. Tuano devil anatumia mtoke mbali na God. Kila mtu wanakana devil na matendo yako inakuuza. Unapenda God, la si hivyo.
Ndo redefining, Ukoo Flani, fanya kweli. Ushaisikianga hii, ushaifukanga di, ushafikianga mi. Naweza badilisha industry, fanikisha maisha hii. Venye na dunda na beat, unajipunga na mi. Ukijiunga na di, mwaka unga na ni.
Unajua tena, Ukoo Flani Mau Mau, ndo redefining, fanya kweli.
Yes, tumetoka Dandara, place maswala ni chafu kutoka Dandara. Tuna plans za project kwa youths wenye plans za kudandalas. Ukoo Flani Mau Mau, tumetoka Dandara, place maswala ni chafu kutoka Dandara. Tuna plans za project kwa champs wenye plans za kudandalas. Ukoo Flani Mau Mau,
jeshi la wokovu, maaskofu, sijui tutaita mandingi, mwananzeki, msiwe na hofu. Manzeju jana niliona ndovu, wengi mkukio moto ilikuwa ready for combat. moment za Kodak ni picha za investigation za Kodak. Hapo ndio utapata kuona vile wali sign deal na devil. History ni Kylie ya K na Ebo round kini kwenye vina table.
Wakichukulia kindness for weakness, lazima table zitanishwe. Mashetani watu nao tu wapigwe. Uoni sisi on CCTV kwa mtaa penye dhiki maskini kukoseshwa faraja. Sikiza hizi future plans baraza yenye wametuweka nao nia yao kutushaka kidream. Sitazama sincerely sita change identity kiakili dhibitisha kiskill mini soldier.
Kweli nani noma nani ita mamako leta babako lete ndugu zako dadako pia dandora vamia jeshi ingia hii shit yote ni fucked up. Mau Mau for the next government shit fala tu ini take over kali shinda ya 1982.
Nafungua vizibao kwa suda jadimu nachanganya na asali kwenye track ninatapika sumu. Mzee wa kazi jikoni napika makeke ushiro dharabu tingisha sikizeni madebe karibuni tucheze na pwani pona washa mwenge gentleman tunazikata singenge ingia na mtulize mfurahia mtunzi weka mfai washa pamoja tuselebuke sasa sikizeni hip hop kufurahi ketu katike mangoma mpaka che
pamoja Sounds Alliance and Aki Project Studios freeze car breeze notika chika notika mapankela na kaptena na stopi nyingi shinda makapela wa mastopi tela wajela hapa nilipo sipo hapo sipo ndipo nilipo malipo hip hop kwa high table ya tempo na taban ka kepo na kupanga mapepo riswa unatokomea peponi.
Hata usiulize tena, si unajua ni kina nani, ni ukoo fulani. Hizo mistari wewe mwenyewe ukisikia unaona ni raw kali. Na kwa wale wana psych nini, unaweza tafuta ule jamaa anaitwaga Pilipili awapatie morali. Otherwise my bitch niggas wanna pitch nigga si unajua tena fulani andaki studio.
Shua Mununga Bana tuko 56 sao Flani karibu na Sivo kidogo juu ya Dandora face stage Flani pale inaitwaje noma sana Omari hii studio ni ya Kambi UK double MU alhamdulillah 56 puliza bomba wasanii kibao tatuliza mjomba maukatwe kibao bwana tunasonga
swaleni ko hustling ko days ni majavelin na makiski piano man hisi ni jambo sana kama game disi tusha master game jibushe na wenyeji name no si hesitate
Yo Kenya wagwan give me some real hip hop vibes. See big up all the Kenya massive. Hey, this is Ruby from London picking up all the Kenyan massive. Wagwan Kenya.
Hey yo zika wika Afrika naliandika ni trash kubalika fichua liyofichwa tisha kama sita tatu ni zaidi ya mitaa tatu na acha watu nikiambia kile najua kile upitia kila siku ndani ya matatu uko juu. Hey yo bendera ya uko juu the way nafanya kazi wasanii wanakimbilia kotu
Difikishe, juveli pashe Bote kwa bote pasoja wanaenda bato waimbaji wa mziki wa kizazi kipya kuna vipaji vya sanaa taji nasi tuko on toes tuna kick toes ma outlaws kuswitos ma uppercut majama bad kwa yule msanii kasemi kitu kwa rekodi.
Unaweza dhani tulibreak makoka roda after kuama ile plot iko na joy kwa out of order. Sasa tuko kwa bed sheet za sarova maboda magova hawezi tu trace na hoda amepotelea Ocean's 11 watu hawezi ka straight paka maji straight atoelo ingine ya kuwa ka straight ku avoid nje. Unaweza dhani tulibreak
Dandora na nguo aka Budu Kenge napiga MC pasenge kuwakaba kuvua chini kihuni jina nijenge jigani lenge bado nangoja kuwa kenge uliza Frank nani ndo fundi kama si UK double Flani changu kikundi nipanga kwa instru majabu ya bundi utani kuta kwenye kona mariko nimemkaba simu na mpokonya keja patikani kwa sasa shaponyoka
nikiendelea angalau kuweka akiba ama fala angazao wananichimba ni kamera imepata Al-Qaeda imetosha tempa tosha tupotosha chemba iko chini ya mchanga inashangazanga juu kashida ingekuwa mali ningekuwa tajiri jua kuchanga tu zinaongezekanga tu daily azipunguki bala inafanya saa zingine unafichwa
sila
wacha kevo, wacha kibuvi, wembaya wemzuri duniani mwisho nika movie. Natoa jasho la damu kusema ukweli, mpende mspende Ukoo Flani Mau Mau, ni wajukuu wa mtume, kaya hipo mtusukume, mambo salama sharama, na beba ngao ya upendo bado, navuka visima vya moshi, nanua mikono, bye bye kwa matajiri wane, makafiri, ni mnaponda jina si, tojenga jina wona leta mseo, mpumbavu we, upana kunja bavu, MC shipavu, uji moto, upaye, ndo tunakumbana na msoto.
Mutatusikia kwenye radio ama tunatembea na jaa, hawawezi understand so watashangaa. Ukoo Flani Mau Mau, how we rule in the streets. Bad man can't hate you, we ripping them beats. NZZ representing the chicks, and my jamas done your ghetto who is feeling this mix. Mutatusikia kwenye radio ama kwenye CDs, preaching the words of the ghetto pia kwenye TV. Ukoo Flani Mau Mau.
Kitepa, masoda, zimeshika. Masaa 4 za usiku niko hiyo club imebamba mbaya sana. Shaka bado 2 hours, saa 6 usiku. Kitepa imeisha. Kutepa wenyewe ati wamesota. Alafu nasikia nikiuliza ni saa ngapi, juu wanajua ni saa 6. Ati sasa huwezi mkajaribu. Unabambu huko nje na mamba. Sasa unatakaje tudunge hapo mpaka Ngware? Hakuna nini kubangaiza tu ati tunadunga club. Niliwaambia ngachini niende kachoni kama. Paka home. Kaenda kulala mimi.
Ya na madawa kali kali.
Ni wengi mabraza meno wanaongea nyingi, hawana hisia, nia wamepotea njia, sana sio yao wameivamia, hawana idea wanajifanyia, mwisho wa siku wanaishia kushikilia mikia, wana fasizi nazo twiza kusimulia, akili zao zinagonga kufurahia changa, wana matatizo ya kisaikolojia, hisia hii ndio inanijia kuharibia.
Yo, X aka Conjure right here checking in, ready to begin as I start the new legends. I'm here with legends and I'll probably be the veteran, cause y'all know already who I'm better than. There could be klepto, unnecessary noise as I come here ready to deploy what I came there when I stir noise. X, you probably hear the buzz when your girl's talking about me, and I probably show you what I bet when I'm probably cooking this stuff. Y'all cooking something else. Y'all probably be damn, cause y'all come and do it down. Y'all wanna see who come with it in ski, cause you do suck, just like Monica Lewinsky. Yo, what up, this X aka Conjure, straight from the USA, staying up in Maryland, DC. Coming down to Kenya, so love, that's where I'm from, that's what I'm doing. We gonna make this break up in Maryland, and that's what we bout, that's what's up. Holla, legends is in the building, X Conjure 1.
Yeah, you heard that? We talk about real hip-hop blazing. Big up, worldwide. It's my man Cheese and Brain, Ukoo Flani Mau Mau, Dandara hot burning. We coming after y'all. Ukoo Flani Mau Mau, Buddha Blaze. We signing off with the real heads, you know, Nairobi, KenyanHipHop.com. You know we come through like that. Cheese and Brain, signing off with a real hip-hop, real, raw, rugged. We don't care, the streets is burning. Dandora's watching, bro.
Dandora est en flamme. Nous sommes tous dans le caniveau, mais certains d'entre nous regardent les étoiles. Alors les 2 pieds dans le ghetto et la tête au soleil, l'armada Mau Mau hurle ses Mao. Éveille. Et moi je suis là dans la cabine, le cœur en vrac, l'âme en vrille. J'amorce une dédicace pour ces gens-là, persistants, perspicaces. On commence à lui bien bas, Ukoo Flani, Dandora.
DJ Do, Destination Africa, One Extra, BBC, representing Ukoo Flani Mau Mau.
My name is Binyavanga Waidaina. I'm a writer from Kwani. Na tuna undugu na Ukoo Flani Mau Mau. Dandora is burning.
Yeah. Yo, this is Jeff from MTV Base Africa, representing UG, representing Uganda Hip Hop Foundation.
Nairobi is burning with creativity.
Ukoo Flani Mau Mau, Dandora, worldwide.
Ukoo Flani Mau Mau, you get up below.
Molo Pichazza della DJ, in dialetto salentino. Rispetto agli Ukoo Flani e agli Mau Mau, questo è il mio messaggio. Nairobi, Dandora, rispetto.
Ecco i Ukoo Flani, l'ho toccati con le mani, mi sente Milani. Ma con i Mau Mau, anch'io faccio wow.
Yes, tumetoka Dandara,
face maswala ni chafu kutoka dandara. Tuna plans za ma project kwa ma youths wenye plans za kudandala. Ukoo Flani Mau Mau, tumetoka dandara.
You're tuned in to Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug.
So you can't pretend that you have not heard today on the Vault. Eh? Hey. Hip-hop ain't dead in the 254. Yes, that's how we represent with the beat maker. Yeah, now the beat taker, 10 fingers in there. If you don't know, you better ask your mom or ask a Kenyan with the good hair. Yeah, that's how we're representing. Hey, so you've heard a bit of Dandora Burning record. Yeah, that of course is Ukoo Flani Mau Mau, you know. And believe it or not, I actually worked on that record also, you know. So it was a great record to be part of and everything. One of the records that I really like there is, what makes me happy is Pigambao, you know. And there's a part of, there's a line that Ibra the Hustler says, Mini Fool Mrui, yeah? That line always sticks out, you know. But of course, today we're showing love. Today, we're just showing love on the Vault. Once again for hip-hop, but specifically Ukoo Flani and also Mau Mau. You know, it's great seeing what these guys have done. It's great seeing a generation of great hip-hop coming out of Kenya that didn't just change Kenya, but changed outside of Kenya, you know. They're the ones who made that change and made it great, even for the younger guys who are coming up, you know. With songs like Dandoro, LOVE influenced groups like YJB. That's like Young Gifted Black, you know, if you remember the Young Gifted Black. And it was fronted by Octopizzo. You know, of course, everyone knows who Octopizzo is. If you're in hip hop in the 254, you don't know Octopizzo. I don't know where you've been for some time, you know. And also artists like Calligraph Jones. You know, Calligraph was probably a way younger artist when these guys were coming up. But now, of course, he ain't young no more, you know, and he's keep on doing his thing. But eventually there's going to be new artists. Right now, there's new artists coming in the Kenyan music industry that are coming up right now, and they're doing their thing. They're putting themselves, not just male artists, but female artists. We have people like Tulia who are doing their thing. We have Saisa, of course. We have artists who are there, who have been there before, but still represent and still putting out great records like MC Sharon, you know, also Shazzy B. You know, there are a couple of them, but they were out there doing their thing. So it's always great. It's always great for me, particularly the beat maker, when I see artists out there putting out records and doing their thing. But let's make it clear, for us as Kenyans, we need to support the culture. We need to support the hip-hop culture. We need to support these artists that are coming up. Buy their records, man. Buy their records. They're always promoting their records, and people don't buy them, you know? And it's really sad, and I find it really sad because at the end of the day, they put in a lot of time to put out these records. They go into studios, record them, have them mix, have them master, do the videos, do everything that's needed. Get on social media, put in their imaging, put in their branding, doing everything, and you're still looking at them with zero eyes, like why, you know? There's artists also putting out their new albums who are artists from the past, but are still there people right now like Illness, you know? And it's great to see them doing their thing. So go out and buy their records. For Ukoo Flani Mau Mau, for Ukoo Flani itself, you can actually go on their website and find their music there. If you go to www.ukooflani, which is UKOOFLANI.com, you can actually purchase the record on their site. So let us support the artists that's coming up, the artists from the past to the present. No, music never dies. It just grows. And as music is growing, you can grow along with these artists and support them in what they do. They say the biggest way of showing love is when people come out with these records is actually to purchase them. Go out, get to hear the music, and you'll love the music. We shouldn't just be waiting to get online and download music or just waiting for artists that are outside of Kenya and they're dropping you say, that's record I want to buy, you know, and you just go out and do it. Let's support our own. You know, courtesy begins from home. It doesn't begin from other places. It begins from home. And it's enough, someone like me who's been out there, I was always been asked, like, so how is the hip-hop scene in Kenya? What are they really doing? Where can we find music that we can connect with? And these are not even Kenyans, you know? And so they want to know what's going down, you know? And they want to be able to listen to the music that we have over here. So there's so many platforms, so many ways, but we as Kenyans also need to share our culture to the world. That's why we say that also hip-hop is a culture of love. You know, we need to share it to people out there so they can see what we're doing. You know, we shouldn't just be known, and there's nothing wrong with this, but we shouldn't just be known as a community that has athletes and makes tea and coffee. Like, we're bigger than that. There's nothing wrong with that, but we're bigger than that. We have the arts scene in Kenya, which is humongous, you know, that has a lot to share to the world. So let's get out there and do this. As we wind up, there's one thing that I want to state. There was a talk in the past about both Ukoo Flani and Ukoo Flani Mau Mau, where people were like, "Is their time up?" If it was a clock and it's going tick 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 tick, has their time come to an end? And it's obvious, totally obvious that the show that they did last week at Allianz shows that their time is not over. There's a brand new section. There's a brand new way of their selected kind of music that they're putting out that people wanted to relate to. And people, when they heard the music and they saw them perform, they were getting excited because they want to hear this music. And the music has a message. One thing that's very important with music, if you're going to put out music, it's got to have, first of all, a message. Before even the beat and all this other stuff, it's got to have a message. And that's one thing I feel that Ukoo Flani Mau Mau has been very strong on as a collective, as a whole clan, as a whole crew. They've been very effective in that way. And so when you get a chance, I've shared, and we'll put out the link also for you to check it out online. Go and check out their music. Go see what they're doing. Go check out other artists also what they're doing. Let's support the 254, you know, because their time is not over. You know, they've definitely, and one thing about Ukoo Flani is, because they're from the coast, they're from Mombasa. They set a foundation, a pillar for both coastal Kenyan hip-hop and a broader hip-hop, you know, not just based on the coast. And one thing that they both them and Mau Mau, where I feel that they excelled is they just didn't do rap music, they just didn't do hip-hop music, but what they did was they turned into a local dialect. They use Sheng. They use a way of the streets, people that can understand it and feel they can connect with it and understand what they're saying. So that's one area that they got right. Because the past Kenya, music was very different. And the new generation and their generation is putting out music that is identifiable. So here today, we just want to tell you, Ukoo Flani, even Mau Mau, we're here to give you your flowers. We are proud of you. We're proud of everything that you've done in the music scene and how you keep on moving forward and how you keep on making that change, you know, to bring up the new generation of artists that are coming up and how you keep on blessing them through your lyrics. You know, they say that, you know, lyrics never really fade. They may move on to something else, but they never really fade. And so seeing the music that was put out and you are putting out is great. So here at the Vault, you know, we just keep on saying, bless up. As we wind up with the beat maker here today on the Vault, it's been a great time sharing with you this music, great time talking with you, and keep on the Vault and watch out for the next time we're together. But for today, just remember, hip hop ni culture ya love. So keep the culture alive and don't forget about that. Stay blessed.
Yeah. jaja bado matumbo jaja si lazima ulipe mkwanja pusha nafsi kiama kwanza ni hizi shida zanifanya mi nianze kuimba nisiposhiba inabidi mi nianze kuiba ziba ufa kabla sijapo mwa nianze kuiba funga mdomo kabla ujafungua uanze kuiba ona mimi nakwama visiki toka zama wedi simba juda niongoze kwenda Zion Buddha za sana kuta mbele ni staki chuka natoa ushuda siku za mwisho zimekuja mabasta uongo mashoga na mapoko picha za ngono geuka popo usiku geuka soko usiku litalala kopo tebe tupu kuzungu situ kilo koko kelbu umbwa koko kwa wote waleta uno jaja ndiye vitamin bila jako vitamin nimejiami
umoja ni nguvu get up now stand up and help me sing this song tupeni pamoja umoja ni nguvu get up now stand up and help me sing this song
I've survived the worst, could only get better. Nothing lasts forever except the one who put the sun and the moon together. Tough times will never last, but that people do. You can be a creeper too and pull through the hardships of life. The fact is, no slave ships won't try. Wakachelewa kapata boys a sharp one men at the same make a dry. Selassie akakuja, akaona, akakonka. Ja! Rastafari, fire pande Babylon, bande moto unachoma toka Dizukare, Ninari, liberation utadhani Nairobi Harare, geneshimio male alongside Uncle Mugabe, mipango ya vile tutafanya watu kade la meo ajikate, na ukitaka zikubambe ukiwa nayo kiwasha, jeshi vutange, jeshi vutange.
Haki kote, simama wima, mashime onyesha utu wako bila bunduki na panga onyesha ushuja upendo na furaha sema Mungu nguvu zako zilete baraka kwetu tupeni pamoja umoja ni nguvu get up now stand up and help me sing this song tupeni pamoja umoja ni nguvu get up now stand up and help me sing this song tupeni pamoja umoja ni nguvu get up now stand up and help me sing this song tupeni pamoja watu wote
Yes, sir. Yeah. We in the ghetto, straight soldiers, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Don't try to prove it, man. We still living this ghetto life. You know what I'm saying? Struggle and strife. Ghetto niggas, soldiers, commandos, and generals.
Cool baba, Flani soja twada na ndege tumejami na vifaru tuna majeshi wa Desert Storm na SS Marine wafuasi bila din tumekuja kuchukua utamin madini tuko jeshi bwana zaidi ya 1050 tunatumia TNT tufanya fiat na B52 kwenye mati soja nati na kutaketi na seti jeti na tumamiza hilo mnageuka diesel anganya mento incognito Gambia jeshi kutoka ghetto then in a fight for my right na check kwa scope gas nepa kuka tupa kwenye pipa na chia gurneti full real gwamba na nuka kizinduka na bazoka
we are people hypocrites judge them a parasite and Babylonian the fire on the Monday Ukoo Flani have to fight for the rights of the youth them a fighting
nafuta jasho mana jeshi niko vitani mizinga makobora mabomba na depuka makamanda full gwamba kama ni baya
Buffalo soldier wanajeshi wa mtaa, nikute kwenye msitu wenye miti mirefu. Rastaman ajena, niko jicho nyanya, nasema kweli ndio maana nakufa kisoja, najitoa muanga kama Yesu msalabani, napiga saluti, bendera uko inapepea, parapanda nalia, makamanda vitani, tazama kulia, Shaframan nafunga mkanda, tunakuja na ufuo, wanajeshi na chombo cha baadhi, brigedia kanal, uko jono flacha nani.
We're not got no friend from them. Jahamia, send them say it's not the same.
We have been bad hypocrites. Judge them a parasite and Babylonian shit.
Them all not belong on them. For the
Ukoo Flani have to fight for the rights of the youth, them a fighting.
I've been a soldier, but a soldier in the hood. I stand tall like Makaskavi wa jeshi wa mtaani. I rifle in a knife like Kimathi. My generals kutoka pwani. Bunduki kama walami, M16s and 47s. If we die, we go to heaven. I war, we stay together, so physical like a bear. Don't you ever be up there. When they said that we don't care. Make it rain like Salasi. Bullets got you like Makasi. I general like Castro. I stick to the fact. You can kill me like Lumumba. Headbangers down your Nyumba. We soldiers on a mission like Che Guevara, Fujo Makelele, Sharamani, Richie Rich, P.O.P. and Gucci P. We soldiers and commanders, Ukoo Flani G.
we're not got no friend from them. Jahamia, send them say it's not the same.
We have been bad hypocrites. Judge them a
One throw to your heart without hurting your skin. The passion of love flows deeper within. A hesitating smile traces upon your lips. You don't say a word, but you know I see it. Our love connected through the wind leaves us craving for embrace. Your chest burns and my heart aches, craving for your love, longing for your taste, reaching out for a hug to forever hold. Headed in the right direction, I can see the joy of life. To turn away, I'm right beside you. Follow the love in my voice, reach your arms out, embrace me while we can. Une lance à ton cœur d'amour si fragile. La passion d'amour danse dans nos yeux. Un sourire hésité qui se trace doucement sur tes lèvres. Tu dis pas un mot, mais tu sais que je le vois. L'amour en toi et moi se connecte dans le vent. Mon cœur est à toi, ma joie est à cause de toi. Y a rien de plus que je veux dans ma vie. Je te veux, seulement toi.